We're going to remove the fuse panel and find some fuses. Next thing we're going to do is use one of these fuse taps. So I got to get the same fuse. As we can see here, this is not the same fuse, so I got to go look through and get one that is. And then this is going to go in the same spot as this. We're going to put the original fuse here, put the new fuse here, and then we'll have our tapped circuit off of there. All right, so now we're going to set up the fuse tap. So we're going to put the first fuse in the first slot there and push that into place. All right, so now taking a look at our LED kit, we have our control modules, we have our main module right here. This is what we're gonna need, and then we're gonna need the controller. So this is the power right here, and it has a switch on there, so we're gonna need that. I'm gonna use some of these taps right here as well. All right, first thing, we're gonna plug in this power wire to this module here. It clicks in. Then we're gonna take one of our LED strips. I got the short one for testing purposes. We're gonna plug that in. You could see which side those pins go with those pins. Plug those in. Then we can come over here. Alright, so now I'm going to remove some of this trim. Usually this trim just pops off, so you could sort of feel it, feel where it's going to release. I just had this one released. I could actually take this all the way out. As you can see, there are a bunch of plastic tabs here that push down into place, and a bunch of these tubes right there, and all of that helps align this down into place. Alright, so now I am finding a ground location and getting it prepared for the wire to go to. Give it a little tug, then I would put that over there, heat shrink it. Alright, so now I am finding a ground location and getting it prepared for the wire to go to. Alright, so this has a bunch of clips that go straight down, and this whole thing pops up. You could pull it out with your hand, but if you have a pry tool, it's easier. So I'm going to go along, start on the back here, get both sides starting to pop up. You could hear it releasing. Then work your way down the center console. So these are all just like clips that pop straight down into place.
Okay.
So this whole thing pops up.
Oh.
We'll be able to make some room there, feed the wires, pop it back down.
Okay.
There we go. Alright, so there, this is released. Alright, so underneath you have a bunch of wires there, and this is held together with a bunch of screws if we're going to fully disassemble that. In this case, we're not going to fully disassemble it though, so we're going to go to here, but that's off. This will twist off if you have a manual. If you have an automatic, you got to put it in neutral, and then there's a tab on the front here with a little release in there that you need to undo. Pop that out, and then you could pull your automatic out. Alright, so now I got this popped forward here, and this allows us to get extra room to tuck those wires and then sandwich that back up like that, and that's going to hide that super nice and clean. Here I could spend a little bit more time to push this in a bit more, and then once that's all nice and tucked, that is going to be super sweet and look pretty much factory there. Alright, so now the door panel is loose. Now this clip here slides straight up, and then that comes out. Pry tool under it like that. Pop them out and it'll just shoot across the garage and boom. So we're gonna tap into this ground wire here with this T-splice. So the way these work is they have that little cutout in there and that goes over the wire, the cinches down on the wire, cuts through the sheathing, and it makes connection to that terminal there. And then once this is closed, you put a connector on this side here and you could run a wire straight off of it. So this is the wire here that we tested as a ground. So we're gonna pull this out of the way like that. Get our T-splice in place here. Alright, so this wire here I know is our switched power wire. We tested that with a multimeter earlier. So then we're going to pull this white wire there. Alright, so what I did here is carefully use this razor blade and cut around the wire. And then you're able to strip the wire away like that. You want to make sure that you don't cut through the strands of the wire, and then you'll take this thing, twist it up like that. I like to double it up on itself. And then depending on the size of your connector, double it up again. Then you could take your connector see. Alright, so there's a hook, then there's a little thing there that presses in. This sort of floats until it's locked into place.
Oh yeah, when did you learn that?
This up here get that speaker wire in. And then we could go ahead and put the speaker back in.
Which one?
This is the small one that goes right up here. Alright, that's locked in.